Today's video is gonna be a little bit different to usual. I haven't done a video where I just chill, sit here and chat with you guys. This might turn into a series if you like it might not. I have a lot of stories from my childhood growing up that I think are very, very funny. I've never shared them with you guys, never shared them at all with you. So this is gonna be a period for you to get to know me better and me to just share these ridiculous, embarrassing, slightly awkward stories with you. I'm going to be sharing 3 stories with you today, and they all revolve around one guy who at a stage was my best friend in school. We're going to call him Ed, and I was friends with him between the ages of about 10 and 12. Ed was a year older than me in age, but he was in my school year for some reason. So we're in year 6. We have a school trip to a place in Brighton called Woods Mill. It's kind of a nature reserve place where all I remember is they have loads of different insects there, and you get to walk around and you go and see like stick insects and just learn about insects. Ed needed to go for a wee, and Ed said to me, he's like, oh, come with me, I've got to show you something. This is my best friend saying this to me at the time, so I'm like, yeah, of course, I'll come to the toilet. Can't wait to see what you've got to show me. So we go into the toilets, and Ed goes to the urinal. I'm sort of stood in the toilet behind him, wondering, I'm like, oh, what are you gonna show me? I can't believe I'm telling you this story. He was just like, look, you've got to see this. Little me, 11-year-old me, is like, oh cool, what do I need to see? He's not actually going for a wee. He's standing there and he says to me, he's like, oh, come and look at this. He's maybe 13, I'm 11. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come and have a look. I walk over to him and he's literally standing there showing me the fact that he has just found out that he's got pubic hair. So Ed had gone through puberty, or was going through puberty. Little 11-year-old me hadn't got to that stage yet, and both of us thought this was the coolest thing in the world. I remember standing there looking like, wow, that's so cool. Can't wait to, when's that gonna happen for me? Like, when is this gonna happen? I got showed the pubic hair, and then we left. Walked out the toilet as if nothing had ever happened. And that for me was like the first insight to puberty, for growing up, what it's gonna be like as a boy getting some manhood. What it did for me though, it made me check every day. Every day I was waking up thinking, oh, have I got those yet? I can't actually remember when I specifically got them, but at some point I did. Is that a thing that 11-year-olds do? Moving on to story 2 now. I used to hang out with Ed a lot. He was like my best friend. We would skateboard together. We'd be around each other's houses every weekend. We spent a lot of time together. Because he was older than me, he was cooler than me, he lived in a really cool area in Brighton. I was living in a town called Shoreham at the time. So he was like edgy. Anyway, so we're around his house one day. And again, he was like, look, come and look at this. Walk over to his drawer. He opens his drawer and pulls something out. I'm standing there with him like, oh, what's that? I could see some writing on the side of this packet. On the side of this packet, I saw marijuana. Now, don't jump to conclusions right now. He gets a lighter out, lights this thing. Turns out it's an incense, right? So he is lighting a marijuana incense. He then told me that if we put the incense next to our mouth and inhaled the burning smoke from that incense, it would be like taking marijuana and that would make us high. Little 11-year-old me, who's being influenced by Ed, was like, sure, yeah, okay, let's stand over this marijuana incense and breathe it in through our mouths. I literally remember we had one each and we stood there, literally mouth over this incense, just breathing in. And genuinely thinking that something was happening, like after a minute be like, oh yeah, like, can you feel something? Yeah, really, yeah, I think my head feels a bit funny. To clarify on that, marijuana incense is in no way, shape or form a drug. It is a smell, a scent. So we're standing there, breathing in marijuana incense, thinking we're really cool and that something was gonna happen. Moving on to story 3, which I really don't know if I should be sharing this with you. Me and Ed, we were watching a film. Round Ed's house, parents were out. So, you know, it's a Friday night, 2 boys hanging out watching a scary film. Normal. We were both sat on separate sofas, so Ed had one sofa there, one sofa there. We've also got individual duvets, because you know, Friday night watching a scary film, need your duvet to cuddle up in. I was perfectly happy sat there watching this scary film. Ed hadn't told me this. He had found his dad's porn collection. Whole load of videotapes, yeah? He found it hidden in this cardboard box, like in some random cupboard. Ed sat there and he says, let's put something else on. Oh, I can't believe I'm telling this story, seriously. So I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, sounds great. As soon as I saw what he was putting on, I felt a little bit awkward. Sat there on a sofa with my best friend, watching porn. Now, I don't even know if I'd really watched porn at this stage. I'm like 11 years old. So we just sat there now watching porn. Ed was sat on the sofa behind me. I was sat on the one on the side. I started to hear some kind of movement and shuffling going on. So I turn around and see that Ed was removing his trousers underneath the duvet. I was like, Ed, what are you doing? He's like, oh, Marcus, trust me, just copy what I'm doing. Okay. I'm still not sure what's going on here. I too start removing my trousers underneath the duvet. So we're not naked in front of each other, but we are getting naked, both of us, under our separate duvets on these sofas. I turn around and see that Ed is starting to make movements under his duvet. Little 11-year-old me wasn't aware. I might have even been 10 actually. I wasn't aware what was happening at this stage. I hadn't even learned of this activity. So I'm like, oh, Ed, what are you doing over there? I can't tell this. Ed's like, if you start wriggling your willy about, it will start to go hard. So I'm sat there, Ed is jiggling himself about. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but I kind of felt peer pressured into this. So I start to try to do stuff. It's very awkward right now. Looking back now, I don't even know why I'm telling you this story, but I feel like I've been through this experience. No one else should have to go through this experience. So there we are, sat there, both learning. Well, I'm certainly learning, he's teaching. All of a sudden, oh, what's that? The front door opens, which is fine. Parents didn't walk in on us, you know, watching what we were watching. Ed freaks out, grabs the remote, whacks the horror film straight back on. His parents walk in the room and are like, oh, alright boys, how's it going? Had a good night? What are you up to? Hi Mum and Dad, we're just watching a horror film. Yeah, it's really scary. So what do his parents do? His mum stands there and she's like, right boys, that's enough. Time for you to go to bed. One slight issue in this, from the outside, looks absolutely fine, doesn't it? We're sat there with duvets on. What she didn't know is that we didn't actually have the bottom half of our clothes on underneath that duvet. So she stood there telling us to go to bed. We're both sat there like, a little bit naked under here. Don't know what we've been up to. We were like, oh, the film's nearly finished, so don't worry, like we'll go to bed soon. His mum wasn't having any of it though. She's like, nope, time for you to go to bed now. I mean, she must have seen something because I don't think there's been anything more awkward than the two of us trying to like stand up off these sofas, holding our clothes in one hand, wrapping the duvet around you so she doesn't know you're naked, so that we've then got a duvet wrapped around us almost like a little skirt. I mean, she didn't say anything, but she must have realized like the way we were acting and how suspicious we were about the whole thing. So then we both walked right past his mum, naked, under these duvets. That moment of panic if she saw something, if she said, why are you taking your duvets like that? And we were just both under there, stark naked. That's the story of me and my best friend Ed. Ed ended up leaving my school and we were no longer friends. We weren't in contact because back then there wasn't Facebook or anything. And I literally have no contact with him now. So Ed, if you're watching this, hey buddy, let's watch a film together sometime. I came up with this random video idea and don't know if you guys enjoyed it. I have so many more stories like this that I would like to share with you, so if you want me to continue this as a series, give the video a thumbs up, leave your comments below. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next Monday with something a little less intrusive on my life. So yeah, thanks for watching, love you guys, see you next week, bye!